What's going on, you guys? So check it right. As you know by now, the annual SA Hip Hop Awards are about to take place soon, and the awards show announced the different categories and nominees. And so far, we managed to discuss Song of the Year, DJ of the Year, MVP, and Best Freshman. So without wasting any of your time, let's get into the remaining categories, with the first being Producer of the Year, and the nominees are Physique, Haircut the Lights, Lunatic, Shaney J, and Zuchi Coke Dope. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with the list because each one of these guys deserves to be nominated. I mean, Physique was involved with Home by Tyson Sabatelli and Life is Gangster by Tato Soul, which are two contenders for best hip-hop albums. So he really put in that work to get this nomination. Haircut the Lights has also been involved with some of the biggest tracks this year and last year. I mean, just to name a few, we have Gwenzegile and Sneaky by Blackie, Intonina by Younger Chief, Lift Me Up by Zuchi, Bototo and Win by Pretty Ugly, and a whole lot more, guys. So he really deserves this nomination. With regards to Lunatic Beats, I know he had a heavy hand in KO's recent album SR3, as well as also producing Godlike for A-Reece, so I see why he has been nominated. In regards to Shaney J, the only thing I saw from him was a project he did with Youngster CPT, which was Dreams Don't Pay Bills. Now, I'm not trying to discredit Shaney or anything like that, but that project doesn't even come close to what Never I by MashBeatz has been able to do since dropping. I mean, just off that one song, Mash has been able to get deals like the one he has with Spotify, start up his own merchandise store, and even drop a remix because the track was too hot. So I mean this with no disrespect, but Mash deserved the nomination over Shaney. But anyway, Zuchi is another worthy nominee, as he was a part of some of the biggest tracks on Mud by Pretty Ugly, producing 1632 and 30 Minutes to Soweto. He also produced for Zulu Mega with the track Deliver Us, as well as pretty much producing his whole entire album Anxiety Plus, which we know the production is crazy on that one. Now, moving along the other categories, we have our Best Male, with the nominees being Lucas Raps, Maglera Dope Boy, Tato Soul, Tyson Sabatelli, and Zuchi Coke Dope. And we also have Album of the Year with the nominees being 031 to the World, Diaspora, Life is Gangster, Home, and Anxiety Plus. Now, it's clear that both these categories coincide with each other and the list of nominees, and I must say it's a solid list of nominees for both categories. I will say that the only album I didn't enjoy from this list is 031 to the World by Lucas. I'm not going to go in depth as to why, because I already have countless of videos explaining my dislike for it. So instead of Lucas, I would have preferred to see Words, with Product of a Praying Mother being nominated, because you could argue that it was probably the best rap album to drop, but that's just my opinion. But other than that, the other four nominees and their albums were very good. I mean, Diaspora by Maglera was solid in my opinion. He gave us a whole lot of different elements and vibes, also just giving us a breakdown as to who he is, where he's from, and what he's about, which I enjoyed. Now, Life is Gangster by Tato definitely deserves to be here, just based on the crazy storytelling and lyricism that Tato always displays. It can't be denied that this nigga can rap, and Tato really proves that on this album, as he put on a spectacle on every track. Now, Home by Tyson Sabatelli is another album worthy of being nominated, as he gave us probably the best rollout for a project this year, and he had the music to still keep the listeners intrigued once he dropped. The album had different elements as well, with Tyson coming with some R&B vibes and some straight hip-hop vibes where he's rapping his ass off, so he's definitely a solid contender. Now, lastly, we have Anxiety Plus by Zuchi Coke Dope, and there's not much to say about the album other than it was well produced, but that's to be expected when it's coming from someone like Zuchi. We can also count on Zuchi to be introspective and vulnerable with these songs, making it to be a very relatable experience for the listener, and it's for that reason why I understand why he's been nominated. Now, before I move on to the other categories and nominees, I just want to inform you guys that A-Reece won't be taking part in the award show this year, as he's withdrawing his nominations. Now, the award show came out with the following statement saying, the South African Hip Hop would like to announce that South African rapper A-Reece has withdrawn from the 11th annual South African Hip Hop Awards and will not be participating in the ceremony this year. A-Reece has been a highlight of our last couple of shows, and he deservedly had an amazing night, winning 2 awards, mainly Mixtape of the Year and Lyricist of the Year at the 10th edition of the SA Hip Hop Awards last year. We appreciate and welcome his decision to withdraw his submissions and not be a part of the show anymore. Furthermore, we'd like to wish him and his management well for the future. Thanks. Now, I'm not sure what sparked this from Reece and his team, but clearly he wants nothing to do with the award show this year. I mean, some of the ways the award show goes about doing things, it comes across as shady because we can see the blatant gatekeeping and favoritism, and maybe Reece wanted nothing to do with that, which I don't blame him for. I mean, if you're not going to be honest and upfront on how everything is conducted, then you can't be mad if artists don't want to participate in the ceremony at all. So with that said, we have Heaven Can Wait and The Burning Tree being withdrawn from the Mixtape of the Year category, and the remaining categories being Mud by Pretty Ugly, Welcome to the Planet by Skanda World, and Soon 2 by Touchline. So with Reece out the picture, I would say either Pretty or Touchline deserve it. I mean, both their tapes are solid in their own right. But with that said, doesn't mean the category has 2 open spots for other mixtapes to be nominated, because if that's the case, then I believe A-Reece by The Big Hash, Sunset Stories by J. Jody, or even Money Power Respect by IMP The Don should be nominated. But anyways, the last category I want to discuss is Lyricist of the Year, with the nominees being Pretty Ugly, Tyson Sabatelli, P.O, and Zulu Mecca. So once again, this is a decent list of nominees with the exception of Reece, since he withdrew from being nominated. And considering that, I think the open spot should either go to Tato Soul, Maglera Doughboy, J Hood, or even J Jody. And I say this because they've all displayed top tier rapping and lyricism. Now with the nominees we do have already, Zulu Mecca is obviously the most talented lyricist on the list. Now I'm not taking anything away from Pretty, Tyson, or P. But Zulu Mecca is both different. There's a reason why she's the only female on the list amongst male rappers, and that's because she's clearly capable of hanging with the best of them. So she's the obvious winner for me, but I won't be mad if either Pretty or Tyson take it. But with that said, guys, who do you think will win the categories we just discussed? And what do you make of Reece withdrawing from the awards? Comment down below. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that like button if you found the content dope, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's on to the next one. Peace.